When a vehicle manufacturer is designing a vehicle, they've got a few tools that they can use to ensure that the drivers and the occupants of those vehicles are kept as safe as possible. One thing that we look at when we're designing vehicles is the crash structures at the front of the vehicle. These are engineered to dissipate the force from a frontal impact to avoid transferring all of that force to the occupants of the vehicle. These are an important thing in the motorsport environment. We also add in some structures that you wouldn't normally find in a road car. Chief amongst those really is the roll cage, but we also add in things like an onboard fire extinguisher and an electrical kill switch system. Let's look at some of the design considerations around those devices. I just wanted to show you the fire suppression system that we carry on board the car. Obviously, in the event of a collision, the chance of a fuel or an oil line rupturing means that there is quite a high chance you could have a vehicle fire, and you want the occupants to be safe. It's really important, of course, that all these controls are accessible by the driver. When this is pressed, what happens is it discharges the fire extinguisher from the white bottle behind me. That is then released into the vehicle in various different points. Really, the key thing for that is that the driver is protected, and so we have nozzles here underneath the dash, but also that the engine itself is protected, because that's likely the source of heat and subsequently a source of ignition for the fire system. The black structure that you see around me is what's called the ROPS, the rollover protection structure, or more commonly called the roll cage. And the function of this is to protect the occupants in the event of a crash. So it's a really stiff, rigid structure that stops penetration of the barrier or other cars into the passenger compartment in here. It also has the benefit of stiffening up the car, which is really important for a race car. With all this roll cage structure around us, it's really important that the driver isn't exposed then to any unnecessary impacts from those bars. You know, if the driver's moving around in the car or in the event of an impact and the driver comes free of the car, it's important that they don't hit themselves on these big metal bars that are here. And so roll cage padding is used. The material itself needs to pass quite stringent tests to ensure that it is dissipating that energy in the event that the driver's head hits there. But also the other important thing is that it's made from a material that isn't going to melt on the driver. It's made from a polymer that isn't going to drip down in the event that we've got a hot situation here if the driver's on fire. The roll cage that you can see here, we've modified. So the design itself originally called for parallel door bars. That's these structures here. They were both parallel with one another. What we found is that made driver exit quite difficult. Now, disabled drivers have to conform to the same safety standards that an able-bodied driver needs to conform to, and that's to say they need to demonstrate they can get out of the vehicle within 10 seconds. So in order to facilitate that for a paraplegic driver, we designed this roll cage specifically with this lowered door bar to make that exit easier. The third safety system that we carry on board here is the kill switch. So this serves two main functions. One, it disconnects the battery that we carry on board from the rest of the car for safety reasons, but also it makes sure that the engine doesn't continue to run after the vehicle's stopped. This is a system that the driver can activate from here. It's also a system that the marshals can activate from outside the vehicle. This one works with a field effect transistor, which disconnects the negative leg of the battery. That's underneath my arm here. The button for that is here. So the driver can operate that when they need to stop the vehicle or in the event of an emergency. So we've seen inside the car and we've seen how the driver activates these safety systems from on board. If the car crashes and the driver is incapacitated or the marshals need to get to the car and activate these safety systems, they've got the controls on the outside of the car to be able to do that too. So as we've got inside, we've got the kill switch here and the fire extinguisher here. When the fire extinguisher is triggered, one of the really important things is that fire extinguisher goes onto the things that are hot and burny. So with that in mind, inside the car here, there are discharge nozzles. These are connected to that white bottle that we saw inside. So when the system's activated, it discharges through here. That covers the basics of how we engineer the safety systems on board the race cars here at Team BRIT. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more engineering insights.